I know you have plans, but here's the question. Do you understand your purpose? Because note this here. His favor was never meant to finance his fetish. I'm going to say that again. The favor of this young boy was never meant to finance his fetish. And a lot of us did not know how to respond to the favor that God had given to us. And because of the fact that we didn't know how to handle the favor that God had given to us, we started treating favor in the wrong places. Yeah, let me help somebody today, because I need you to understand that your favor is not used to give you your own fortitude to do whatever you want to do. Now, whenever you find favor, just as the boy here, the favor that the father gave to the boy was never designed for the boy to go out and start his own future. The favor that was given to the boy was designed for the boy to continue on with what the father had already established. Let me help somebody. Because for the father to divide his inheritance, Deacon Lawrence, it means that the father had to come to a position of his mind that retirement was time. He had to decide that I'm going to retire for what I'm doing. And the moment that he decided to retire was the moment that he was able to release his entitlement, his endowments. He was able to hand out more because he said, I no longer need this for what I'm going to do, but I'm giving you the favor, y'all missing this, so that you can do what you're called to do. Note this here, that the boy should have been wise enough to remain in the same familiar positions that the father was and just use it at a whole nother level. And this is the same thing that happens with many of us in the church. We begin to forsake the fact that just because we got favor, we take our favor and we want to do unfamiliar things. Y'all ain't working with me today. And because we're trying to do unfamiliar things with the favor that God has given us, we find that it works at first because of the fact that favor sometimes ain't fair. So it works at first, but the problem is we don't ever understand when we get ourselves in the position that favor now becomes distant. What happens when what was working in your tricks no longer has capabilities of working in your tracks? What happens when God has given you so much favor, but now you try to yourself, and when you try to yourself, you found that what you was working on didn't work quite correctly. Y'all still looking at me crazy. Let me just talk about me. There's been moments of my life that I've seen the favor of God on my life, and when I saw the favor of God, I start trying to do the familiar things of Derek, but I found that God's favor does not come to do the familiar for Derek, but God's favor comes for me to carry out what I'm assigned to do. And some of y'all are praying for God to give you favor, and the reality is you need to pray that God will give you faith, the ability to see what you want me to do, and understand that you've already given me the resources that are necessary for me to carry it out. Y'all ain't talking to me still. I feel like preaching in here. I need somebody to look at somebody in the house and tell your neighbor, say, neighbor. Y'all ain't talking. Y'all know how I like it now. Y'all got to act like y'all are a black church. Look at your neighbor and shout out in their face, say, neighbor. Say, the favor that God has given you is for you to carry on.